Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Ba'ashim Rakah Kodash, Barakatah. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone that rule well. In peace and salutations to Yakim out there pushing this word in truth. This is the Brother I with another video. And as you brothers can see, this is definitely the last hours of the last days with that chemical weapons attack that happened just the other day. Now look where we stand with in regards to U.S. and Russian relations. And this is an article on ZeroHedge.com, and the title reads, U.S. Navy destroyer armed with Tomahawks arrives off Syrian coast, harassed by Russian planes. And Trump earlier today said in a press conference that the consequences would be, he didn't say the consequences, but the response would be severe in regards to that supposed chemical attack that he's blamed on the Assad regime. As the situation in Syria continues to escalate, guided missile destroyer USS Donald Cook has weighed anchor off Syrian territorial waters and is reportedly being harassed by low-flying warplanes, which have buzzed the Airlay Burke-class warship at least 4 times, according to CNN Turk. Of note, Donald Cook has 60 Tomahawk cruise missiles on board. It is claimed that the U.S. Donald Cook named destroyer left Cyprus's Larnaca port and landed near Syrian territorial waters. It was claimed that the missile destroyer named Arleigh Burke, class Donald Cook, reached Thales 100 kilometers and had 60 Tomahawk fusers on board. A Navy source confirmed the deployment with the Washington Examiner, who said that the guided missile destroyer had just completed a port call in Cyprus, while the Pentagon reportedly draws up plans for how to deal with the situation. U.S. military planners have drawn up more than one option for possible military action against Syria, including a strike similar to last year's attack, in which 59 sea-launched cruise missiles inflicted heavy damage on a Syrian Air Force airfield in Homs. Pentagon officials, speaking on condition of anonymity, said the options now are similar to those presented to President Trump after last year's chemical attack in northern Syria that killed and injured hundreds of civilians, including women and children. But officials said the president could decide to choose a more robust option this time, given that Syrian President Bashar Assad didn't seem to get the message last time, says Washington Examiner. That brings me to Matthew chapter 24, verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, talks of Trump taking a more robust stance against President Assad, since he supposedly didn't get the message from the last Tomahawk missile strike. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. And if you're in this truth, you shouldn't be troubled. You should be reveling at this. This is just more of an indication that we're getting closer and closer to our the ending of our captivity and the beginning of our salvation in our eternal kingdom. And also, we'll go to 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, start at verse 1. But of the times and the seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you, for yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. And look at how quickly things have escalated since that chemical attack on Saturday. Who knows what could happen in the next couple of hours, the next couple of days. You could wake up and we could be at a war with Syria and Russia. Just keep your eyes open. What is surprising is that according to the latest Strathtorr naval map, there was no other major naval support, either amphibious or carrier strike groups, in the vicinity of Syria as of April 5th. Just some maps and statistics and stuff like that. The destroyer's aggressive positioning comes hours after Israel conducted a Monday morning strike on Syria's T4 airfield, situated about halfway between Homs, Syria's third largest city, and Palmyra, famously the site of ancient ruins. RT reports that 2 Israeli F-15 jets fired 8 guided missiles at the airfield from Lebanese airspace. The jets never entered Syria. The IDF has long noted that the T4 base, the IDF has long noted the T4 base for its housing of Iranian and Quds forces with the backing of Syria. And if any of you watch my videos, you should know this scripture by heart by now. Jeremiah 49 verse 20. Therefore hear the counsel of Yahweh that he hath taken against Edom, the Edomites, the so-called white race, and his purposes that he hath purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. And we know that least of the flock is those Amalekite Edomites, who are those Israelis in the state of Israel. And we're seeing that, as it just said, they did an airstrike on a Syrian base, and now you've got that U.S. carrier force with those Tomahawk missiles in the sea, just waiting to get orders, and for us waiting to see what's going to happen from it. You crazy Christians, you put your stock in you put all your stock in those fake Israelis, and they're going to be the ones that are going to drag you into World War III and hasten your captivity if you're an Edomite, which the majority of you are. For a long time, Iran and the Quds force have been operating with the backing of Syrian forces and the approval of the Syrian regime from the Syrian T4 air base near Tadmor. U.S. Defense Secretary Jim Mattis told reports on Monday, "I don't rule out anything right now," when asked about a potential response, noting Russia's alleged involvement. The first thing we have to look at is, why are chemical weapons still being used at all when Russia was the framework guarantor of removing all the chemical weapons? More BS from the devil, as you should know who he is by now. He said, "And so working with our allies and our partners from NATO to Qatar and elsewhere, we are going to address this issue. Last year, the U.S. warned the Kremlin ahead of the strike so that Russia could make sure its planes and personnel in Syria were not in harm's way. This time, the Foreign Ministry in Moscow has issued an explicit warning to Washington that any military intervention in Syria would be unacceptable and will lead to the most serious consequences. Again, wars and rumors of wars. The U.S. acted alone in April last year, but this time it could work through a coordinated international response." And Russia, which is Gog, they're just, they know they're going to have to do something against the U.S. soon enough, because the U.S. is just going to keep pushing and pushing until they get a response. But the U.S. is not going to what's that word I'm looking for? They're not going to be expecting the response they're going to get. It's going to be more than just a slap on the wrist this time. We're in the last hours of these last days. Britain and France have also hinted at possible military action in Syria, getting those other 10 horns of the beast dragged into the Valley of Jehoshaphat, following comments by British Foreign Secretary, who spoke by phone with French Minister for Foreign Affairs Jean-Yves Le Drian on Monday, saying that there should be no impunity for those that use such barbaric weapons, in reference to the gas attack. Speaking to reporters at a Monday cabinet meeting, President Trump said he would be making a decision very quickly, probably by the end of the day, about the U.S. response. "This is about humanity. We're talking about humanity, and it can't be allowed to happen," Trump said. With all these nations getting gathered, I'm going to go to Joel chapter 3, verse 2. "Let the heathen be wakened," the U.S., Russia, France, Britain, China, the state of Israel, "and come up to the Valley of Jehoshaphat," which means Yahweh Shaphat, or Yahweh's judgment. "For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about," and that World War III, the Battle of Armageddon, which is going to be beautiful. I hope this happens as soon as possible. I'm ready to get out of here, Akim. Information about USA destroyer USS Donald Cook carrying Tomahawk missiles, which was anchored near the coast of Cyprus, is moving toward the Syrian coast. It seems that the next 48 hours will be hot in the eastern Mediterranean. Wars and rumors of wars, and again, "For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night." Meanwhile, Russia appears to be making preparations for an imminent U.S.-led attack, according to the unconfirmed reports. There have been intensive flights of Russian aircrafts along the Syrian coast and over Khmeim base, in addition to the intense flights of military aircrafts belonging to the Assad regime in the sky of Homs, there's great anticipation from Assad and Russia for a possible blow. That's it, Akim. I'll just leave this up here while I talk. So as you brothers can see, it's damn near down to the wire. So just keep strong and let's keep our eyes open and see what happens over the next, as it says, 48 hours. A ball, and I hope this video is edifying. And until next time, Shalom.